I talk to people all the time and they tell me, Ty, I don't know if I'm really doing meaningful work. Because every time we start on something, we go somewhere else. I never complete that, and I never complete the other thing. I never complete that. So they find themselves marking time. And my best example of marking time is when I graduated high school, I decided to go into the United States Navy because I was tired of my mother telling me what to do. So I decided to go into the United States Navy. Now, I can remember the recruiter telling me, he said, well, do you want to go to Great Lakes for boot camp? I said, sir, in September and October, no. It's too cold. He said, well, I can send you to sunny San Diego. I said, we have a deal. So I arrived in sunny San Diego, but it was nighttime, and it was 11 o'clock at night. I arrived in San Diego, and they get us from the airport to basic training, and they get us to the base, and I can remember we're being asked to be heel to toe, and they're just yelling and screaming, and I discovered that I got rid of one mother, but I inherited two other mothers, and these two big burly guys with all these muscles and anchors, they're standing and they're yelling at me. And then on the third day of boot camp, we're learning how to march. So we're coming across the grinder, and we have our dog dish hat, our dungaree shirts, our dungaree pants, and they're tucked down into our socks because we're new recruits. And we're marching, and the company commander yells, "Mark time, march." So we start marching in place. I step out of ranks and go stand on the curb. This company commander comes from around the platoon, and he comes up on me. He's like, "Recruit, what is your problem, recruit?" And I'm standing there, "Sir, I didn't join the Navy for this." He said, "What?" I said, "Sir, I didn't join the Navy for this." He said, "Son, what you just created is a personality conflict. I have the personality, and you just created the conflict." And I'm standing there shaking. And he said, "Why are you out of ranks?" I said, "Sir, I didn't join the Navy for this." And the platoon they're still marking time. And he said, "Son, why did you join the Navy?" I said, "Sir, the recruiter showed me palm trees, beaches, and women." I said, "What?" I said, "Palm trees, beaches, and women, and this ain't it." And they were still marking time, and he said, "Recruit, if you don't get back in my ranks by the time I count to 3, when I get back up, you won't know if you're coming or going." At that time, ladies and gentlemen, I was inspired. And I got back in ranks, and he said, "Forward march." And we stepped off, and we went on with our day. But what he explained to us, ladies and gentlemen, when we got back to the barracks at the end of the day, we would always have a learning session in the back of the barracks. He said, "With you all, over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to teach you all the command to move. You're always going to hear the command to move forward." And he said, and you'll be able to not only hear it, but to internalize it in your life and give yourself the command to move, so you won't be stuck marking time. But he said what happens on the other side of the fence with civilians every day is people wake up and they're marking time. They get themselves up, they get their kids ready for school, get them off to school, get themselves to work, 9 to 5, come back home. They check the kids' homework, feed them dinner, they get them ready for bed, they get themselves ready for bed, they wake up the next day, and they're doing the same thing day in and day out. And I always get people to think about, if you're the same person you were 6 months ago today, you haven't changed. If you're the same person today that you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Some people, remember I said, you think about how you came into the organization and you were revved up and you were showing people your talent and your systems, your way of thinking. And then as the years started to go, all that stuff started to fade. You started marking time. And even in your life, the same thing. I talk to people. When I talk about relationships, I ask people, what did you all do when you first started dating? Remember how creative the guy would be? I mean, he would take you out and he would do whatever you wanted to do. You know, they talk about eagles, how they court one another, and they say the female goes all the way up and drops a stick, and the male eagle, his job is to catch that stick no matter what's in his way. He has to take those risks. And sometimes that male eagle is diving for that stick because he doesn't care about the mountains that he's coming near. He's going to grab it to prove himself. But then in your regular relationships, you know, guys and gals, you do that. Women, you say your mother taught you, girl, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So you're cooking and you're feeding them stuff, and after all of a sudden you're together, now it's Hot Pockets. What happened? What happened? Now all of a sudden you're marking time. But yet you're expecting to get better results. It can't happen. It won't happen until you give yourself the command to move.